Oz?
Yes?
Ah,
Oh, there we go.
here we go. The joy of live radio. Thank you for
Yeah.
bearing with me on this one. Wow.
problem.
But in the meantime, we have listened to a lot of your tracks of music off Snapdragon. So we've
Awesome.
got a good start going there. Thank you for your
Good.
patience and thanks for being here. Let me
Sure.
do a brief introduction, if I may, to the listeners here, in case they're not familiar. Virtuoso guitarist, recording artist, and educator Oz Noy has performed, toured, and recorded with countless musicians, including Harry Belafonte, Cyndi Lauper, Bill Evans, Alan Toussaint, Josh Groban, just to name a few. His latest release is titled Snapdragon. You can see Oz perform locally in the Hudson Valley while you're dining at the Falcon in Marlborough next Friday, November 27th. And with that, an official welcome to LocalMotion, Oz Noy.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So let's get started here. This is a great new release, by the way. Thank you for sending it to me. I always like to start with a little history. You grew up in Israel, yes?
Yes, correct.
Now tell me about the start of music for you. I understand guitar was not your first instrument.
No, it was my first instrument. It's just I wanted to play drums, but I never really studied it. And then I started studying guitar, and that was it. So guitar is my first instrument.
Oh, I thought you started at drums.
And I wish.
There's still time. There's still
I know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what were you listening to and how old were you when you started with the guitar?
I started playing guitar at 10, when I was 10.
Wow.
I listened to, the thing that was most influential for me was the Beatles and Israeli pop, rock, whatever was in the radio in Israel, which it was kind of influenced by American and European and English rock and some, you can call it, I don't know, Eastern European harmony. I don't know how to explain. It's got its own kind of thing, but that's what I was listening to growing up. And then soon after I started playing guitar, my big brother started bringing jazz records home. I don't know why he did it, but he did, and that's how I got exposed to jazz.
Nice. What kind of jazz? Like, who were you listening to?
It was just like variety of stuff. It was like Chick Corea, John McLaughlin, Kid Jarrett, I don't know, Bobby McFerrin,
Wow.
George Benson, Al Di Meola, stuff like it was just a mix of things. It wasn't specific stuff, you know what I mean?
Right. A little bit of everything. Now,
Yeah.
did you have music in school?
Not really, no. There was a little thing, but I would say no.
No. And you took lessons for guitar?
Yeah, I took private lessons, yeah.
Nice. And did you start a band as a teenager?
Yes, yeah.
What
Well,
was
it
the name of it? I always love the names of people's first
Oh yeah,
bands.
it's stupid. It's called Biscuit. You know, like I guess Biscuit. In Hebrew, it's different. Yeah, but it was early teen. Like it was like I was 13. I was 12 really, or 13 really.
I love it. Biscuit.
Yeah. When I was a teenager, I was already a professional guitar player, so I was already kind of working for people. You know.
How did you get to know who to go to, and how did you get into that world as a teenager?
In Israel?
Yeah.
It's a very small scene there, and you know, I lived in the suburbs of Tel Aviv in the center, so it's pretty easy. You know, it's like you start to know people your age or a little older than you. You start playing with them. A lot of times, music teacher hook up kids together, so that was the beginning. And then after that, I don't know, the scene is small, so once I start gigging, it was pretty simple, pretty easy to meet more and more people, you know.
Did you ever want to do anything else besides play music as far as a career?
No, but I never thought about it as a career. I was just doing it because that's the only thing I kind of know how to do, and I was doing it at the time. And as a kid, I started to make money out of it in a young age. So while friends of mine were going to school, I was actually making money, Not a lot of money, but I was able to do gigs and get paid. So
right.
I never thought about it, in that sense ever, really.
Right. And when did writing start for you?
In my early 20s, at some point I formed a little group of mine in Israel right before I moved to New York. And when I did that, at some point I started to write for that.
I see. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And you've been a studio player with many, many people. When I look at your discography, it's quite amazing. I mean, we could be here talking for the hour just on who you've performed.
Yeah, the people that you mentioned are really not representative of the people that I play with, because my discography, I play with a lot of people, but a lot of them I just played once or twice with, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like I worked with Cyndi Lauper like twice. So,
yeah, but you still worked with her. So
yeah, I know. So it's just funny to me that...
I know, but there's a lot of great stuff. Mike Clark too. What a great drummer he's been on the show.
With Mike, I played a lot.
Yeah.
No, there's something, Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think Josh Groban, I did some TV show with or something like that. Actually, I was on a tour with him also, but I was with the other act. So anyhow, it's just that's how it works.
That's how it works. Do you remember your first recording session?
Yes, I do.
Oh, how old were you?
I was probably 13 or 14.
Wow.
I think I was 13 or something like that.
Was it jazz that you played, or what were you playing?
No, what it was that first band that I was with, the Biscuit Band, we had an actual producer that wrote the songs for us, which was kind of a rare thing. So he was older, so he knew a guy that had a little studio. I think at the time it was a home studio with it was a Fostex machine, one of those 4-tracks. Mm-hmm. But we did a demo of a song, of that band, and I remember going and playing a solo. That was my first session, and then that same guy actually opened a real studio in my city. And I started to do recordings for him there. At the time, I was like maybe 15.
Amazing.
And an interesting fact is, on those sessions that I used to do for him, there's a really great, pretty successful, popular drummer named Nir Z. He's very well known. He played on a lot of records. He lived in Nashville, and he's from my hometown. So me and Nir used to do recording sessions. I was 15, he was 18.
Wow.
In that studio. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and here you are both in the U.S. You came to New York 1996?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Because I wanted to... I got to a point, when I was 24 in Israel, I got to a point where musically speaking, there was nowhere else for me to go. Like, I played with a lot of the famous singer-songwriters there. I've done a lot of TV work there. I've done tons of jazz gigs. So it was kind of the same, staying there and doing the same. There was really nowhere to go, And I wanted to kind of develop. And also growing up, I always had friends of mine that told me that I should go to New York. I don't know why. It was always a thing. So that's why I went there. Plus, I had a few good friends of mine that went here to New York a few years before I have, and they made really great careers playing jazz. So I kind of saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, my friends are there, I was 24, so I was young enough to kind of do it and suck it up and, start a new life, really. Yeah.
And you played we saw you at the Falcon not long ago, last month or something, with Anton. I know you've played a lot with Anton Fig, and also James Genus. You played with him.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, when you first came to New York, what kind of clubs were you going to get yourself out there?
It's kind of funny. It's pretty much the same club that are still around. Smalls was really big at the time. The Bitter End, where I stopped playing there, but I used to play there till recently. The 55 Bar. there was a couple of blues places that closed, like Chicago Blues and Manny's Car Wash. They were, like, at the time, they were open, but they closed. But basically, it's the same places that are still around that are still kind of happening, you know?
Right. And who are some of the bands that were of biggest influence to you?
In general, or since I moved
in general.
to New York? I don't even know where to start. It's a really hard question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll answer it in a different way. I can tell you there were certain people that was really kind of symbolizing New York for me, and that's what made me want to come here. So people like Michael Brecker or Hiram Bullock, or actually Will Lee or Steve Gadd, people like that and they've done many projects with Pat Metheny. I knew they're New Yorkers, I knew they live here, or the music that they make is kind of more New York music, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. East Coast kind of stuff. So that's the stuff that I really liked. Esco Jones Schofield also, and it's all East Coast,
Right.
So that's, I think that's what attracted me to come here.
You have such a unique style of playing. Has anybody put a genre to you? Because straight out jazz? I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's tricky with me. Well, some people call it fusion, but I don't like that word because it's got bad connotations with a certain era of music that I actually don't sound like at all.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you just think about fusion as a word, it's just a mix of styles. So I like to call what I do electric jazz because I think it's jazz. It's just electrified, and it's kind of like it's like a modern version. Like, we're not really swinging. We're playing more electric instruments, and the grooves are more contemporary, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, but it's really a mix of jazz and rock and blues and funk. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And R&B. So I don't know if there's a name for that style.
Yeah.
It's called music, I think.
It is, and it's beautiful. I've always been in I don't know what's engulfed, entranced. Your music is really mesmerizing, and it's so beautiful to watch you perform. And you make it look so effortlessly, like, oh my gosh, anybody can do this. Well, of course, we know that's not the case. Yeah. So can I ask you how many guitars you have?
Yeah, sure.
How many do you have?
I don't have that many, actually. I think like in full, I have maybe 20, maybe 22,
mm-hmm.
but some of them are not electric. So, I have like a bunch of acoustics, I have a mandolin, I have a ukulele, I have a banjo, I have all that because I do studio work. So I have maybe 10 electric guitars or 12, I don't know. And then I have two basses. No.
No. Uh-huh.
I have a few that I like, a lot. I have my Strats are really good now. My Tellys are really good. I have a really nice Gretsch. I have a really nice Les Paul. I don't know.
Right.
I like them when they sound good, and when I plug into something and they sound really good, then I like them.
Right. That makes sense.
If they don't, and I don't like them,
Right. Now, you've been on many, many recordings, as we say, but in 2003, you released your debut record. Yes?
Actually, in 2000, it was 2000, it's a little tricky because the first album I released was a live album, it actually came out in 2002.
Ah.
And then it's called All's Live, and that was a live recording from the bitter end.
Fun.
And then after I released that, I got signed, and then I released my first studio album that's called Ha.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if that was released in 2003 or 4, I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. And that was featuring Anton Fig and Will Lee and Jameis and special guests Mike Stern and George Whitty.
Yeah,
not a bad lineup, Oz.
Yeah, it's okay for a start.
Yeah.
Well, but that was my band. I played with Will and with Anton and with Keith Carlock and with James Genus. That was my band. So,
Nice. Have you played a live record since the Oz Live?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I can't remember the year now. It's a couple of records ago. I did a tour in Asia with it was with Dave Weckl and Etienne Mbappe, and Dave has a setup where he can record the shows, and he doesn't do it for any professional reasons. He just does it to kind of document stuff or to listen to, So when we got back from that tour, he sent me some recordings of a couple of shows, and they sounded really, really good. So we decided to release it as a live album. So there's a record that's called Asian Twist, and that's a live recording from 2 or 3 shows in Asia.
Sounds fun.
So I think it was either 1 or 2 shows in China, in Shanghai, and 1 show in Bangkok.
Mm-hmm. Anywhere that you haven't played yet that you want to, as far as country?
Oh, yeah, many places. Well, I've never been to South America. I've never been to Brazil or Argentina or Central America, all those areas. I've never been there. I'd love to go to Brazil and Argentina and those areas. I never played there. And then I never played in India. I never played in Australia.
There's lots left for you, isn't there, Oz?
Apparently, yeah.
That's wonderful.
The world is a big place.
It is a big place, and yeah, there's a lot to cover. I love the name of your 8th studio album, Who Gives a Funk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was with guests Joe Bonamassa, Robin, Ford, Dweezil, Zappa, Fred Weasley, Wesley, I should say, Chris Potter, and our Hudson Valley's own John Medeski.
Sure.
Yeah, amazing, good
stuff.
John
played on a couple of my records. So.
Yeah, he was just on the show about a month ago, and it's always great talking to him.
He's awesome, John.
Yeah, he does. When did you start teaching? Because I know you're an instructor as well.
It's funny when you were saying I'm an instructor. I was like, educator. I was like, am I? I don't know.
If you give lessons and you're teaching.
I always been teaching privately. But, most people that come to see me, I'm not like the regular teacher. They come to see me because of who I am, like more specialized kind of stuff. So I've been doing that for years, many years really. But over the last maybe 10 years, I've done a bunch of instructional videos. So that's, I guess, you can find those, if you go on my website, there's all those videos. It's got links to the companies that I've done them for. Yeah. That's like the more, I would say, professional, educational material, But, yes, I've been just kind of doing it when people come to me. I just teach,
Right. And you have a great website, oznoy.com. Beautiful videos on there. If people want to see you play in action, the quality of the videos are just beautiful to watch. A handful of them. I think I posted one of them the other day just to get people listening.
Great.
Yeah. Now, Snapdragon, I love the cover. Tell me about the artwork on this.
Oh, yeah. So I had this idea. I actually came up with the idea of the cover. Snapdragon is a flower. So I wanted a cover that will have a flower, and a dragon that would be kind of within a guitar. So that's really what the cover is. If you look at the cover, you see the flower is a part of the neck, and then the dragon comes out of the body, and then there's the shape of the guitar, so it's all one thing. And then there's a friend of mine. She's an amazing artist. She actually did the last 3 covers for me. Her name is Eva Hooter, and she did those covers. It's all by hand. She's actually did it all.
It's really beautiful. I just saw you post today that you have some nice merchandise, T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, T-shirts. Yeah, the T-shirt looks great too.
It looks really nice.
I know. It's the first time they did T-shirts. Now I'm starting to go, maybe I'll do T-shirts to my other CDs.
Well, I hope you bring some covers. When you come to the play at the Falcon. I hope you bring some of your new CDs and your merchandise.
Yeah, I don't have any T-shirts to sell, but I have some CDs.
Yeah.
The problem is because of COVID,
yes,
nobody's touring, so I don't have any merchandise at home, Usually I have stuff, because if I tour, I take it with me, but because nothing's going on,
right.
it's just, even that gig at the Falcon, that's like a rare thing,
Right, absolutely. But people can buy off your website.
There's links from my website to where if they go on my website, there's links to where they go straight to the record company place or whatever they can order it from.
Right.
Yeah.
So Snapdragon, tell me about the people you have playing with you on this.
It was done in 3 different sessions, so each session has different rhythm sections. So one session was Vinnie Colaiuta and John Petitucci. Another session was Dennis Chambers and Will Lee, and another session was Dave Weckl and James Genus.
Amazing.
And then Brian Charette, that's going to play with me in the Falcon, he played keyboards on the whole thing. And then I have a bunch of guests. Like the last couple of records that I've done, I always bring guests because I just got tired of just listening to myself on a record, So I have Chris Potter, Wallace Roney, the late Wallace Roney, John Snyder, Dave Kikowski, Jason Linder, Adam Rogers. I don't know who else. I don't know if I forgot somebody.
Right.
Yeah. So I used I kind of wanted to use a bunch of my friends, in New York that I play with, or
You've got some really good friends, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is a great album, and the tracks, you've got 9 tracks on here. How tell me about your writing process. Is it something that comes easily, or it takes time? How does that work for you?
It doesn't. Nothing comes easy to me, so it doesn't come easy, and it takes time. Usually, what happens is I don't write unless I have to. And when I mean I have to is when I decide to make another album, I start writing. But usually when I decide to make an album, I have to kind of get a concept for that album. Once I get a concept in my head, then I either start to look for ideas. I always collect ideas. I either start to look for ideas and develop them, or I start to write. So that's kind of how my process goes. This record, actually, Snapdragon, is basically it's volume 2 of my last album that's called Boogaloogaloo. And some of the sessions from that album, I end up recording too much music, so some of the sessions, some of the songs that are on the new album was recorded for that album. And the overall idea was to make kind of a boogaloo-ish record, like kind of. That was the vibe. So it started from there, and then I just started writing and coming up with ideas and stuff like that. And then I end up having more music than I needed to, so I started recording, and then we decided to make it into 2 albums.
Nice.
So after that record was recorded and came out, I just kept writing a couple more tunes and went in the studio again, and then finished the Snapdragon album.
On Snapdragon, you have a couple of tracks by Thelonious Monk, I see.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, but I end up recording almost every record of mine. I recorded one of his tunes, almost. I don't know. I just like the way I like him, but I also like the way he writes. It fits guitar really well, at least for what I do. And you can kind of manipulate his compositions to sound to fit what you do, at least with what I do. So that's why over the years, I play a lot of his music and I record a lot of his music. It just works.
Yeah, wonderful. So do you have music left over from this album to start the next one?
No, I'm done. I got nothing. I'm totally dry. I'm dried out completely. I'm at 0.
Aw.
Actually, I was never at 0 since I started making records. Never. This is the first time in my life, really, since I started making records in like 2001 or 2.
Do you think it's because of the pandemic?
I don't think it's got anything to do with the pandemic, no, because usually when I finish an album, I already have the idea for the next album, and I have some tunes on the side, but I just don't have anything. And this record was finished. It was done in the beginning of this year, like in January, February. It was completely finished. So, yeah, I don't think it didn't have anything to do with the pandemic, but the fact that there is a pandemic doesn't help the situation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. It's nice that you can occasionally at least come up to the Falcon, and I know we've enjoyed having you there and look forward to you being there next week. One must, of course, make a reservation. You cannot just walk in. Everything is distance. It's at 50% capacity. And, we definitely keep it safe for sure. Oz.
Yes.
Thank you for this beautiful music. You've kept us entertained. Being able to see live music in just a few restaurants has really kept things just a little bit normal, just for a couple of hours. So You've been a big part of the summer at the Falcon with a few shows there, and it's really an amazing time. So it's wonderful to watch you. Who's joining you next Friday at the Falcon?
Brian Charette is going to play organ, and Gene Lake is going to play drums.
Nice. So a trio.
Yeah, an organ trio.
Yeah, beautiful. Wonderful. Osnoy.com. I like to get people to buy from the artist as much as possible. You can find his music everywhere, but Osnoy.com. If you want to look at some videos and see some great album covers and just get a little bit better feel of the amazing music you play. I'm going to play another track of yours. What would you like me to play? Off Snapdragon.
Oh, actually, either Looney Tooney or a Boom Boom Boom. I don't know if you played them.
I have not played Boom Boom Boom, so I think
play Boom Boom Boom. That's a good one.
All right, that's what I'll do. Oz, thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you next week. Stay safe, and I wish you all the best.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Osnoy.com. This guy's a master at the guitar. Let's take a listen to this track called Boo, Boom, Boo, Boom. 91.3 WVKR. 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. It's 4:59 p.m. And that was Osnoy. His latest release titled Snapdragon. We heard Boom, Boo, Boom, written by Osnoy, featuring David Kakowski. Osnoy, of course, on the guitar. Dave Weckel on drums, James Genus on bass, Brian Charette on organ, Danny Sadonik on percussion, and David Kakowski on Wurlitzer. You can see Osnoy live next Friday. That would be Black Friday. And since most of us, I guess, aren't going in the big crowds, nowadays it's a nice thing to do. So the Falcon is a restaurant that has incidental music, and that's exactly where you can see Osnoy next Friday. You must make a reservation live at thefalcon.com for information to that show. And again, that'll be next Friday at the Falcon. And I'm just looking at the date. The exact date is the 27th. Live at thefalcon.com. Osnoy, you can get on their mailing list, and while you're having dinner, there's some great music that's been happening at the Falcon. And thank you to Osnoy for your time on the show. And thank you to everybody, the listeners. I've been having a technical bad day today at the start of the show. So thanks everybody for persevering and sticking it out. This is live radio, so sometimes these things happen. We're going to start off the 5 o'clock hour. It is LocalMotion that you're tuned into. If it's your first time tuning in, this show is all about music of the Hudson Valley, musicians that live here, those that come to perform in our area venues, as well as those coming to record in our studios, our recording studios. Show number 252 for me. I'm digging it. 252. So it's over 5 years. And if you missed part of that interview, it will be uploaded afterwards, probably tonight sometime, on YouTube, the Rita Ryan LocalMotion channel, as well as the LocalMotion Facebook page. So let's start off the second hour here with Mr. Happy Traum, 91.3 WVKR.
Sailing down my golden river, sun and water all my own. Yet I was never alone. Sun and water, oh life givers, I'll have them where'er I roam. And I was not far from home. Sunlight glancing on the water, life and death are all my own. Yet I was never alone. Life to raise my sons and daughters, golden sparkles in the foam. And I was not far from home. Sailing down this winding highway, travelers from near and far. Yet I was never alone. Exploring all the little byways, sighting all the distant stars. And I was not far from home. Sailing down my golden river, sun and water all my own. Yet I was never alone.
forget. Yeah, that's what I do. I forgive and forget. I'm willing to play with a hatchet. My poor heart's in a furious dead. If yours runs away, mine's gonna catch it. I'll fly after you as fast as a jet. I just don't want 2, 3, 4, give and forget. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, give and forget. Hey, that's all I gotta do. You know I haven't figured out yet why you're making me blue. I fell for you with no safety net. I just don't want 2, 3, 4, give and forget. Yeah! Give and forget, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, give and forget, yeah, that's all I gotta do. You know I haven't figured out yet why you're making me blue. I fell for you with no safety net. I just don't 1, 2, 3, 4, give and forget, yeah, forgive and forget. I haven't figured out yet. Forgive and forget. Safety net, I just don't want 2, 3, 4, give and forget.
.3 WVKR Independent Radio Poughkeepsie. X-Men, and that's spelled ECKS Men. New release. Who knew? Thanks, Drew Ekman, for sending this to me. X-Men is comprised of Drew Ekman on vocals, Roger Astudillo on bass guitar and backing vocals, also Rick Norman, guitar, backing vocals, Dennis Vallone on drums and backing vocals. A bunch of great musicians that are guests accompany this. 13 tracks and recorded in the Hudson Valley, recorded and mixed right up in Hudson, New York. Bipolar Bear Studios. So thanks for sending this to me. X-Men. And we heard Forgive and Forget, track number 1 off this newest release. Also getting started this hour was Happy Trown. Just for the love of it, we heard Sailing Down My Golden River. I love this album. It's got 14 tracks, mostly traditional. The one we just heard was written by Pete Seeger, a bunch of great musicians on this album with Happy. He released it back in 2015, happytraum.com. Happy has a show coming up. It was postponed a little bit. Let me get the info. Bearsville Theater, live stream. And it's postponed now until January 22nd, but it's called Coming of Age in the Greenwich Village Folk Revival and Woodstock Scene. I know he's got John Sebastian performing with him, as well as Cindy Cashdollar, and I'm sure a few other great local musicians as well. So bearsvilletheater.com for information to that live stream and all the live streams that they have coming up. So let's see. We're going to keep music going here. It's 5:09, and we've got David Barron and Donna Lewis coming out with this new single called Stones in the River Bed. Let's take a listen. 91.3 WVKR.
I'm in a cave within a cave. I dissolve into the darkness. You came into my dream. I see you stillness through the mountain mist. green blades between my fingers as I shut out the weeping face of the world. And your holy words, they're like water, like stones in the riverbed. They lead me to you. Lost in the music of vanishing violins, my mind opens. It's a place to start. I feel the green blades between my fingers as I shut out the weeping face of the world. And your holy words, they're like water, like stones in the riverbed. They lead me to you. What's it all about? What's it all about? Across the ocean, I feel you, and I dream of you in the weeping face of the world. And your holy words, they're like water, like stones in the riverbed. They lead me to you. Hold each other close so I can see you. I can see you. I can see you smile. Hold each other close, 'cause I can feel you. I can touch you. But I can see you. To know that you're safe, yeah. It's all I need. It's all I need.
I see you running and it's all over now. The devil's coming and he's showing us how. He's going down on the street light. Such a cool sight. The Lizard King is here, and where are you now? The monkey brain is here, he's showing us how. He's going down on a cool night. I am losing sight. And every breath is like the one before. Yeah, it's like the one before. You get it right, you breathe no more. No more. So my shadow on the blackest of nights. Sometimes it pushed me right out of the light. I'm going down on the get right, and I am losing. You hit it to me and it's all I can do to keep from running, just to try something new. I'm going down on the cool ride, and I am right behind. And every breath is like the one before. Yeah, it's like the one before. Get it right, you breathe no more. And every breath is like the one before. Yeah, it's like the one before. You banged on it, you breathe no more. No more. No more. No more.
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio Poughkeepsie. Music by Tracy Bonham. Her release called Modern Burdens came out in 2017. We heard Every Breath, featuring Kay Hanley on vocals. Tracy will be doing a live stream from Bearsville And that is going to be happening on December 4th. Live stream Tracy Bonham, Bearsville Theater in Woodstock. You can visit the website at bearsvilletheater.com and get all the information to check out Tracy doing a live stream. We also heard new single by David Barron and Donna Lewis called Stones in the Riverbed. You might know Donna from her massive international hit, I Love You Always Forever. It came out in the mid-90s. I still hear it when I'm out in stores and stuff. So she's got a beautiful voice and lives here in the Hudson Valley. Does a lot of work with David Barron, who owns Sun Mountain Studios up in Boyceville and works with a bunch of wonderful people, including Shawn Mendes, Lenny Kravitz, the Lumineers, Simon Felice, and he worked with Meghan Trainor all about that bass. He's got indescribable sense of music and his style. He does music composition for film as well and is really quite a talent. David Barron Music, if you haven't heard of him, look up his work. He's really a brilliant mind for music. We're going to keep the music going by this young man who will also be playing some incidental music at the Falcon this Friday. It's a new single he just released, I think about 2 weeks ago. Let's take a listen to this by Dylan Doyle, 91.3 WVKR.
Sisters, brother, and the children, fighting, living, dying in the street. How long can it go on like this? Turn your back, might as well the gun be pulling the trigger. Watch innocence die, watch it bleed on the knife of greed.
old things we used to do. Now what would we do if time stood still in a warm embrace? Well, it never will. Honey on the back of my tongue lately, tears in my eyes like a waterfall. It's carved upon my heart ornately, the last sweet sounds of the curtain call. Now what would we do if time stood still for us standing on? Well, it never will. I'm coming down off summer, I'm coming down off fall. All I got's a handful of festival lamb, and it's hanging on my wall. I'm coming down off summer, walking round my town, saying hi to the neighbors, telling them we'll be around at least for a while. In case they didn't notice the epic woodpile, smoke signals sailing south, am I the rebel or the good child? All grown up and playing house. Now what would we do if time stood still in the morning light? Well, it never will. I'm coming down off summer, I'm coming down off fall. All I got's a handful of festival lamb, and it's hanging on my wall. I'm coming down off summer, walking round my town, saying hi to the neighbors, telling them we'll be around at least for a while.
91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. The Mammals, No Net. We heard Coming Down Off Summer. Boy, we certainly are by the feel of it today. Cold, cold. The Mammals.love. They are the hosts of the two festivals every year that they host called the Hoot, the Summer Hoot and the Winter Hoot. The Summer Hoot is always the last week of August, and then the Winter Hoot I haven't heard anything about, but it usually happens in February. So I'm guessing if they're doing it, we should be hearing about it sometime soon. The Mammals.love, great new album, 10 tracks, beautiful played, amazing musicians with them on here, and all Hudson Valley folks. We also heard a new single by Dylan Doyle titled Unify, and that just came out a couple of weeks ago. Unify by Dylan Doyle. Dylan Doyle, I believe, is 22 years old. He's also another guitarist that has just come so far, started playing maybe, I don't know, when he was super young, and he's an incredible musician. You can see him live while you're having dinner Friday night at the Falcon. You have to make reservations. It's dinner. Everything is socially distanced. You wear a mask unless you're sitting down. And there's some great incidental music. So restaurants are still open for now. And the Falcon is a wonderful place to eat. And then while you're there, you get to see some live incidental music. And they're open Friday through Sundays. And yeah, you can get info at liveatthefalcon.com. The next couple of songs I'm going to play, these two are playing as part of the Valley Hour at the Howland Cultural Center in Beacon next month. I'll tell you more about it. So we'll take a listen to The Whispering Tree and Bruce Molsky right here, right now on 91.3 WVKR.
I hear it in the valley, I hear it down below, I hear it on the mountain, everywhere I go. I hear bells ringing for change, and I can feel it coming, feel it moving fast. That big wave is rolling across the ocean, and it's gonna crash. And I hear bells ringing for change. Oh, bells, bells are ringing for change.
side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. Find it. There is more joy somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There is more peace somewhere. Side somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. Find it. There's a bright side somewhere.
.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Molsky's Mountain Drifters, Closing the Gap is the title of the release, and released on Tree Fog Music, mountaindrifters.com. We heard There's a Bright Side Somewhere. Molsky's Mountain Drifters includes Bruce Molsky on fiddle and vocals, Alison DeGroot on banjo and vocals, and Stash Weislauch on guitar and vocals. They are going to be the featured guests next month on the Valley Hour. The Valley Hour is a new monthly live stream that happens from the Howland Cultural Center in Beacon. TheValleyHour.com for info. This month they just had Andy Stack and Cindy Cashdollar. Next month they're featuring Bruce Molsky, whom we just heard, and the Whispering Tree, who we've also just heard. We heard the song called Bells off of Invisible Forces from the Whispering Tree. Whispering Tree released this in 2018, and they again will be with the Molskys, with Bruce Molsky, I should say. I don't know if he's going to have the Mountain Drifters on the show with him at the Valley Hour, but they will be there as well. It's a great, beautifully professional video and sound, and valleyhour.com is where you go. That next one is happening December 5th, and if you're busy on the 5th, they can archive it. So it'll be archived for a week. You can just pay a couple of bucks for the ticket and then see it up to a week later. Thevalleyhour.com. Let's get some more music going, and I guess we're staying in Beacon for this because that's where Howland Cultural Center is as well. Andy Stack's going to start doing a Thursday night residency at the Town Crier. Let's take a listen to music by him right now on 91.3 WVKR.
and shadow, stages and light. She'll rock you like thunder, then she's off in the night. She'll dance you a waltz like a tilt-a-whirl. But don't set your sights on the showbiz girl. Gone in the night is the showbiz girl. She can turn a phrase, she can reel you in. You'll be so amazed, she'll make your head spin. It ain't magic in that wand that she twirled. Don't set your sights on the showbiz girl. Gone in the night is the showbiz girl. Son, you've got to stay humble, leave that on the shelf. Son, I've been watching you stumble, get a hold of yourself. She'll make it look natural with special effects. She'll pull on your heartstrings like a marionette. Don't be surprised when it all unfurls. Don't set your sights on the showbiz girl. Gone in the night is the showbiz girl. Jolting jigs and rolling reels, batting eyelashes and French high heels. It's great entertainment, but it ain't the real world. Don't set your sights on the showbiz girl. Gone in the night is the showbiz girl. Son, you've got to stay humble, leave that on the shelf. Son, I've been watching you stumble, get a hold of yourself. 'Cause don't look behind that curtain, it'll just let you down. You got what you need in your own hometown. So when the lights go dim and the curtains close, just let it sink in. It was just a show with makeup and mirrors, dresses and curls, pretty white lies on the showbiz world. Gone in the night, gone in the night, gone in the night is the showbiz girl.
.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Andy Stack from Buffalo Stack, Showbiz Girl, single. I don't think it's been released yet. He was a guest on the show this summer, and he sent me some tracks, and that was one of them, so I figured I'd give it a spin today. Andy is going to be starting a Thursday night residency at the beautiful Town Crier in Beacon on the salon stage. And you must make dinner reservations because really it's incidental music while you're dining. Town Crier is a really wonderful venue if you haven't been there. Obviously, live music is not what it was, and nor will it be for quite some time to come. But some of the restaurants, like the Town Crier, which is also a music venue, is offering incidental music while you're dining. So starting on Thursday, you can see Andy Stack there for the next however many Thursdays they'll be doing that. I don't think it'll be next Thursday because of Thanksgiving, but he is starting tomorrow. towncrier.com. town.com, and that's town spelled with an E. You can also get on their email list to see what's going on there. So today I got this email from Pete Levin, and I was going to play some Levin Brothers music today, and he must have seen that. And he said, Rita, nobody's heard this track yet. Would you like me to send it to you? So this is called Down to Earth. It's a world premiere featuring